Welcome back to my channel, fellow investors. In this video, I'm going to be going through and looking at Ford Automotive. This is a company that's been around for more than 100 years producing cars. Recently, I have really liked their lineup of cars. Most of them are gas powered, and they do have some electric vehicles. I like their fundamentals and have been an investor since June of 2022. I wanted to take a look at the company now that they've announced their earnings for the first quarter of 2024, see if that's changed my opinion of the company. I'll take a look at their financials. I'll value the company based on the free cash flows they are going to be producing in the future. I'll also value the company based on earnings per share, and then make a decision whether to buy more shares, hold my shares, or sell my shares in Ford. Keep in mind, I'm sharing my investing journey as it is with any one of my videos. I am not recommending you buy Ford stock, sell Ford stock. I am not providing any financial advice. I'm just sharing my journey as an individual investor. Now let's take a look at Ford and go through the company. And I'll tell you what I like about the company and the fundamentals, what things I'm concerned about with this company, and overall the makeup of this investment. The market cap of Ford is $49.9 billion. The revenue of the company is $177 billion. So you're buying the company for less than their overall revenue. Their net income is at $3.9 billion. So a really nice income rate if you look at the market cap. The forward PE is 6.6%, a really low PE. Overall, they pay dividend of 3.5%. Really nice dividend rate. Multiple analysts cover Ford and have a hold rating, although their price target is 9.6% higher than the current stock price. The stock's done well year to date. It's up 6.23%. And again, they pay that nice dividend. And over the course of a year, it's up about 10.16%. So it's been an okay stock. I don't think it's set any records, but it's good to have an income stock like Ford produce a positive appreciation rate and pay a nice dividend. Looking at their income statement, the company's grown really nicely. In 2021, the company grew 7%, and they grew their revenues almost 16% in 2022, and they grew their revenues about 11.47% in 2023. Looking at their Q1 earnings report, they grew just slightly, like 1%. So hopefully they continue on this growth trend. I believe they have a really good lineup of cars. I like their cars, and I think a lot of people like their Bronco as an example. And overall, they're doing really well selling the cars they're making. Looking at the debt to EBITDA ratio that's listed on stockanalysis.com, it's really high at 12.6. And I think that's a number that I'm not buying into. And here's why. The balance sheet for Ford includes a lot of their Ford financing. They provide loans to people that buy cars. And at the same time, they're waiting for people to pay them, and then they're carrying some debt. So they're almost like a bank. So I take that out of my calculation for debt to EBITDA. Once I extrapolate the financing part of their balance sheet, I then take their net debt and divide that by EBITDA, and I get a pretty low debt to EBITDA ratio. So I am comfortable with their debt to EBITDA. I just want to explain how I arrived to my number. Looking at earnings per share and the forecast for earnings per share, in 2024, it's expected that they're going to do $1.91 per share. And that's a nice growth rate from the previous year. Next year, 2025, it's not going to do much more. It's expected it's going to go down slightly by 1.7%. Then it's going to go up in 2026 and really go up in 2027. So the earnings per share is going to be rather stable, and I'll take that into account on my earnings per share valuation. Looking at the value of the company, I calculated the value of Ford using their free cash flows and also looking at their earnings per share. Let me go over the valuation using free cash flows first. I started with the cash flows that the company is guiding that they're going to produce in 2024, which is $6.5 billion. And I'm going to grow those free cash flows over the first 4 years by 7%. And all the cash flows beyond year 4, I'm going to grow by 3% in the terminal value, which is all cash flows past year 4 and into the future. I'm going to discount all those free cash flows by 9% to get to a net present value of those cash flows of $112 billion. I'll add the net cash and take away net debt to get to an equity value of the company of $96.7 billion. The market cap is $51 billion for Ford. So overall, I think the intrinsic value per share is $24.80. That's where I believe each share is worth $24.80. But the stock price is $12.79. So it is very discounted if you look at the free cash flows of Ford. Looking at the earnings per share method, the earnings per share of the company, it's expected that they're going to do $1.91 per share in 2024. I'm going to go with a PE of 12, which is reasonable, growing, profitable company. 12 is a reasonable PE for me. Very low growth rate. You saw that their PE, their earnings per share weren't going to grow a lot, so I'm going to keep the growth really low. And the overall intrinsic value per share using the earnings per share method is $23.38. The stock price is $12.79. So it provides a really nice discount of 83%. So if I blend the two rates of using free cash flow and earnings per share, you get to a 90% discount on Ford. And again, a few analysts agree with me, and I believe in the business of Ford. I really like seeing that other auto companies like Toyota have really flourished. And my expectation is that this stock may flourish as well. We may be seeing at a stock in the 20s in a year's time or so. We'll see. The valuations certainly point in that direction. A number of analysts cover Ford, and the price targets are very different from analyst to analyst. Some analysts think that stock is worth $20 a share. Some analysts believe it's worth $10 a share, and the average is $14 per share. So I'm glad to see that some analysts are agreeing with my valuation of the stock. Maybe they're seeing the same numbers I'm seeing, and they believe in the business the way I believe. So it's good to see what analysts are saying out there. I don't make my decisions on other analysts' work. I just like seeing them and see if I'm way off, if I'm out there on an island with my information and my views, which I've done before, or if there are other analysts that are agreeing with my conclusions. So should I buy more shares of Ford, hold my shares, or even sell my shares in Ford? I go through a checklist of questions before I make that decision. And it's quite simple checklist, but it really takes a lot of research, as I hope you've observed in this video. And the first, it's about the company. I have to buy into the company. Do I want to be a part owner in Ford? Do I want to be in the automotive industry? And the answer is yes. I really like the company. I think their cars, their lineup is very good. The quality level is good. A lot of things to like about the Ford company. I think the management team is doing an excellent job. I really like their CEO. He has great leadership. So I like who's at the helm for Ford. Their debt is less than 3 times EBITDA. And overall, I'm very comfortable with the balance sheet. So the discounted stock's really good. So the stock being discounted that much, it really provides a nice entry point. It also raises that dividend rate because the stock price, in my opinion, is discounted. So the dividend rate, it makes it higher. So I'm going to be buying more shares of Ford and continue to build on my position in this quality company. The Ford stocks really offered up some nice prices to buy the stock at. For example, less than a year ago, the stock was trading at $10 per share. So I like doing my homework on Ford and being ready to buy shares at a really discounted price. The shares that I bought during that time frame have really risen nicely. And volatility could be my friend. If volatility takes a company that I really believe in down in price, I'll gladly buy more shares. My investment in Ford has been happening since June of 2022 when I started to buy shares. And I average in the purchases of my shares in a company. And to date, I've invested $54,667. The current value is $58,848 of my shares. I have an unrealized gain of $4,181, which is an 8% gain percentage. Dividend rate is 4.6%. It's a really nice dividend rate of 15 cents per share per quarter, which is 60 cents per year. So it's a nice dividend stock, nice income stock that has appreciated over time. I'd like to see that appreciation go up. And I am optimistic that this stock is going to go up in the next 12 months. Thank you for watching my video, and I hope you found the video on Ford interesting. Ford, I think, is a value stock all day long. If they can grow their business, look out. I think the stock price can double very quickly. And the dividend is really nice at 4.6%. I'm happy to have a stock appreciate over time and pay a nice income. I have it in my income stock portfolio and will continue to hold it there because that's the purpose of stocks in that portfolio, which is to pay a nice dividend and go up modestly over time. I think Ford could really go up in price, and I'm going to be buying more shares over time. Thanks again for watching.